Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amber. So today I want to talk about my July wrap-up and my August wrap-up. In July I only read 3 books, so I didn't end up posting a video of that. But today I want to talk about those 3 books, my August reads, and then my September. I cannot believe we're already in September. My September TBR, which I only have like 1 book on my September TBR, and it's one that I'm just halfway through already. I kind of DNF'd it for this month to read Once Upon a Broken Heart, so I want to get back to that and finish that this coming up month. And then the rest of them we will be picking from the TBR jar. So, the first book that I read in July was Vow of Thieves. This is the second book in the Dance of Thieves duology. I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this one. I definitely liked this one better than the first one. I thought overall it was really well written. I loved the chemistry between the 2 characters. This one carries on. I don't really want to give too much away with this book, just because it is the second one and the final one. And this one is still following Kazi and Jace. I personally felt like there was a lot more of their banter, which is top tier in my opinion. I really love their chemistry. I think that they were 2 really well written characters. It's hard because it's been so long since I've read this book. I've forgotten a lot of what takes place and I'm just remembering bits and pieces, but they're all spoilers, so I can't talk about them. So we'll just leave it at that. You're still following those 2 main characters. You still see all of the characters from the first book. Yeah, 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed that duology. I thought it was an amazing duology. So if you have not picked it up, I highly recommend that you do. The next book that I read was One Dark Window. This is the first book in the Shepherd King series, and that is by Rachel Gillig. This one I also gave 4.5 stars to. I loved this. It is gothic fantasy vibes. I was obsessed. I cannot wait for the next one. The next one is Two Twisted Crowns, which comes out on October 19th. I cannot wait for that. I'll just read the synopsis on this. So, Elspeth needs a monster. The monster might be her. Elspeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie Mistlock kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient, mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her, he keeps her secrets, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. When Elspeth meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, her life takes a drastic turn. Thrust into a world of shadow and deception, she joins a dangerous quest to cure Blunder from the dark magic infecting it. And the highwayman, he just so happens to be the king's nephew, captain of the most dangerous men in Blunder, and guilty of high treason. Together they must gather 12 Providence cards, the keys to the cure. But as the stakes heighten and their undeniable attraction intensifies, Elspeth is forced to face her darkest secret yet. The nightmare is slowly taking over her mind, and she might not be able to stop him. I loved the plot of that book. I loved the subplot of romance. I felt like it had the perfect balance between the 2. The characters I felt like were all really well written. Even the characters that I didn't like, I liked. So, if that makes any sense. But I think this book is perfect for the beginning of fall. So if you're looking for a fantasy book with more gothic vibes in it, pick this one up. The next one that I finished was The FAE Princess, and this is the 4th and final book in the Vicious Lost Boys series. I say final book like that because I saw the author's TikTok where she says that it's the final book, but that she's hoping she can write a point of view from one of the other guys in their vein. So, is it really the final book? We'll find out. But I love that series. It is a dark Peter Pan retelling, reverse harem. Why choose? It was amazing. All the books are on the shorter end, so they're very quick reads. So if you like those kind of books, do check the trigger warnings before going into them, because it is a dark retelling, but they're very well written. Loved the story. couldn't get enough of it. Highly recommend it. Which I gave that 4 stars. I don't remember if I said that or not. Next, going into August. The first book I read in August, which I did not finish all of my August TBR, but I got very close to it, so I am proud of myself for sticking to it for the most part. It's a lot more than what I normally read off my TBR. So the first one, this one, was part of that TBR, and that was Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen. This is the first book in the Violet Made of Thorns series. I gave this one 4.25 stars. I really enjoyed it. I thought that this one is like a loose Cinderella retelling, because I mean, it's like, it definitely gives you a faint Cinderella vibe to it, but I don't think you could categorize it as a fully Cinderella retelling. Like, it just got very minimal hints of it in there. You're following Violet in this, who is a witch / seer. So she is hired by the king to do prophecies, but she's definitely morally gray, and she has her own agenda to kind of keep herself in power. So she does whatever the king tells her, whether that be giving her prophecies, but she will put twists in there and lies to kind of manipulate the kingdom. And Prince Cyrus is the main male character in here. This is the king's son. He is going to be coming into power soon, but he does not keep a secret that he doesn't like Violet, and he wishes to throw her out, doesn't want her to be the seer anymore. And then the king is asking her to give a false prophecy of Cyrus finding his one true love, his wife, at this ball, and during that she lets out this curse. And with this, it'll either be the salvation or the damnation of the kingdom, and it is all up to his choice of future brides. Which you definitely get. There is a lot of tension between these characters. There were definitely a lot of plot twists in here that I did not see coming, and I really enjoyed that. Overall, loved this book. If you're looking for a YA fairy tale retelling, I recommend this one wholeheartedly. I can't wait for the next book to come out. It has not been announced at all, so I'm hoping we get that soon, because I'm really looking forward to continuing the series. Next, I read Guild. This was also on my August TBR. This one's the first book in the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. I gave this one 4 stars. I liked it, and I know that a lot of people say that it gets better as it goes on, and I'm hoping that's true, because I did really enjoy this book, but it's one of those things where, like, there's so many books, that series that I'm in the middle of, that I almost don't have the pull to continue that series right now, but hearing how it gets better makes me want to. This one's a King Midas retelling. So you're following Aaron. I think it's Aaron. You're following Aaron, who is King Midas's golden touch. So she's all gold. Gives you like pet vibes. Like it's kind of demoralizing. So that was kind of hard for me to get into, because she is so infatuated with him in the beginning, and it's just like, it just made me mad. Like, he keeps her in this cage, and he treats her as if she's like this prized pet that everybody can just stare at. And then there's just things that happen that I cannot say, but like, they infuriated me halfway through. Like, I genuinely thought about not continuing, because I was so frustrated with the way she was treated, and she just held him on this pedestal like he was perfect. And I know that's part of the story, like, but it was just really hard for me to get into. But I will say, towards the end, you definitely start seeing a character change with her, and I like the way that she's changing, and I like the way that the story was going, which is what's going to make me keep reading, because I want to see her character development. But I will say, if you do start this and that part does trigger you, just know that it does get better and more interesting and less demoralizing, I guess. But I did give it 4 stars overall. I enjoyed it for what it was. But I am looking forward to getting to the further books, and hopefully I end up enjoying them the way that most other people have. Next up, I read Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. When I say that I'm addicted to the series, I really am putting this up here with ACOTAR. Like, if you made me choose which one was my favorite, I would genuinely have a hard time doing so. I gave the first book 5 stars. I absolutely am 100% obsessed. I feel like I'm in a reading slump after reading this book. I don't have the want to pick any other books up. I just need to fast forward to A Curse for True Love. I just need that book to come out like now. So this one you're following Evangeline Fox. Her love, like her absolute endgame love in her mind, ends up becoming engaged, and in order to stop this wedding, she goes and asks the fate. So there are these fates in the world. It is well known that you don't make deals with fates because there are always consequences with that. So she asks the Prince of Hearts to help her stop this wedding, and his request to help her stop this wedding is 3 kisses. So it has to be when he says to who he says, and that is his payment. And so as you're following this, it is so, like, Stephanie Garber's writing, for one, it's so fairy tale-esque, and like I just couldn't get enough. I couldn't stop reading it. It was so lyrical and beautiful, and there were so many highlights that I put in this book. It was ridiculous. I have never annotated a book so extensively in my life. I guess that's a lie. I did ACOTAR, but like this is what I'm saying. I have not had another book that I have been this obsessed with since ACOTAR, and that was a year ago, over a year ago that I read those. Like just the way that the story is told, there are so many twists and turns that I would be thinking one route that was going to happen and it would turn out to be different. There was like 1 or 2 small things that I guessed, but overall it was amazing. And because of that, I ended up stopping the rest of my TBR, canceled that, and immediately after I finished Once Upon a Broken Heart, I downloaded the Ballad of Never After, which is the second one, and devoured that book. I gave that 5 stars, but if I could give a 6-star rating, I'm putting it in the 6-star rating. Like, it is now tied with A Court of Mist and Fury as my all-time favorite book. I'm obsessed. It's all that I can think about. Like I said, I'm in a horrible reading slump now, and I don't even know how to come out of that. So we're gonna attempt that this month. And I'm just gonna try and get out of that slump. But I genuinely don't know how I'm going to until the next book comes out. I'm not gonna say anything about the second one because I don't want to give anything away at all, but you do carry on with Evangelina Jax still. I genuinely didn't think that it could get better than the first one, but it did, and I am addicted and I understand the hype. If you have not picked up the series, you have to pick this up. It's one of the most addicting things on the planet. So with that being said, let's get into September's TBR. The first one for this month is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. I did get 78 pages into it this past month, but I got a little bored with this book. I genuinely can't remember anything that's happened so far because I got so distracted with Once Upon a Broken Heart, but I did stop this to start that book. This one's written in third person, which I've read a couple books in third person that I didn't mind, but for some reason I'm not really liking this one written in third person. This one you're following Mara, and her sister ends up getting married off to a king or a prince. I don't remember what he is, but it's for the sake of her parents' throne so that they don't end up getting stuck in a war because they're a smaller kingdom, and he ends up being like abusive or something like that. She ends up making this deal with the witch where she has to do 3 impossible tasks and the witch will help her. I don't even know what she's supposed to do, like kill the prince or whatever to save her sister, but I don't know if I'm truly gonna ever finish this book. I'm gonna try and get back into it this month, but so far it's just not really for me, I guess. It's good. I think maybe it was just me. I just didn't really care for the way the third person was written, but that just may be a me thing. Because I think the story and the plot's good. I just kind of got bored. So I'm going to try and get back into that. I'm also going to read Foxglove by Adeline Grace. This one just got released like last week. I just got my copy. This is the second book in the Belladonna series, and I really liked the first one. So I'm excited to get into this one and find out what ends up happening in it. But yeah, again, if you're looking for a more gothic fairy tale vibe story, pick up Belladonna because it was really good. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to this one. We're going to let the TBR jar pick the rest of the books that I read for this month, and I'm gonna pick probably 3 books, so 5 books total. I'm hoping that I get all those. I think I'll be able to. But let's see. First one is A book with a black cover. Okay, I think for a book with a black cover, I'm going to go with One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. This one is in a modern day Manhattan where we lay our scene. Two rival witch families fight to maintain control of their respective criminal empires. I don't want to read too much of the synopsis. I honestly kind of want to go into this like as blind as possible without really knowing what's going on. I've seen other YouTubers read this, but I have not listened to like the synopsis or anything like that, so I think I'm gonna go in blind with this one. So there's the black cover one. This one is a sad book. Honestly, I think I really only have one option for this book that I'm aware of, and so it's going to be Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. I am scared to go into this book because I've heard so many good things about this, but like, I'm just scared to read it. So we'll go with that one. And this one is a book that has been on your TBR the longest. I think I'm going to pick The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I have had this on my TBR for over a year now, so I think this is one of the oldest books that I have on my TBR, and I think I'm finally just getting it into this. This will be the first book that I read by her, and I'm very interested to see this. I have seen hit or miss reviews on this. For the most part, it's good. I'm just going to read the first bold part that says, she is a peasant, she is a student, she is a soldier, she is a goddess. Our TBR is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. Trying to finish that. Then it's going to be Foxglove by Adeline Grace. Then we have a book that's been on the TBR the longest, and that's The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. Then we have a sad book, which is going to be Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. And last but not least, a book with a black cover, and that is going to be One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. So I am excited to get to all of these. I am very nervous about Archer's Voice, I will say that. If you have read that, let me know if you liked it or not, because I'm petrified. I don't really read sad books, and so I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, that is all of the books that I plan on reading this coming up month. All the books that I've read in July and August. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to keep up to date with all my future videos. I hope to see you in the next one.